false media. We don't need it, do we?
We have to fight for an independent media.
This is the Monday, March 1st, 2010 meeting of the Albany Common Council. Thank you all for being with us tonight. We have a very exciting agenda. I hope you're in for the long haul because our record so far is 10:30 to 11 o'clock. So I hope you're all ready for a long meeting.
Thanks very much for the opportunity to talk to you about this. My name is Steve Pierce. I'm the Executive Director of Media Alliance. We're based in Troy, but the organization has been around for 30 years, advocating for media access in the state of New York. I really have to thank all of you for being here and continuing the struggle for public access. You deserve a lot of credit. I think John deserves a lot of credit. I know instinctively and from experience how difficult it is to negotiate with Time Warner. And I actually had to be reminded of that by the tone here. Because what I'm hearing is that this multinational corporation that makes a fortune in Albany as a result of this franchise, which gives them the ability to sell cable television, telephone, long distance, internet, home security, almost anything that can come into your home on wire to the citizens of Albany. The average cable bill about $100 a month, maybe more, but I'm sure we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that they're making in Albany. $500 million maybe over the course of 10 years, maybe close to $1 billion. So this company that's making a fortune in Albany using public rights of way to run their wires and cables overhead, under streets, across sidewalks, which is one of the largest media companies in the world, one of a handful in the media monopoly, is telling the citizens of Albany, who own the property that they use to make a fortune, what they will and won't give the citizens in the way of access to technology that's guaranteed by state and federal law. It's a scandal to me that it's taken so long to get what frankly is so little, considering the vast amounts of money that are at stake. I've been here for more than 15 years, and I've watched Time Warner destroy access where it exists and keep it from sprouting up where people want it. So I know how hard you've worked, and I think the people in Albany should know how hard you've worked. I don't think you should be criticized for what you've done, for the inadequacies of the contract. You should be saluted for having worked so hard for so long to get what's in front of us.
We have to create the opportunity and the outreach, and there has to be a strong backbone to this public access channel that enables it to become a hub where people are drawn to it. There are several groups in this area that are dying to have a venue to show what they're producing out there and to get it to a wider audience. It can become a really vibrant part of the city of Albany. It becomes a hub for the community to then discover things that they might have not thought of that they want to produce, or actually have a voice for some of the issues that they might not have had a venue to voice. So I think that's one thing just to be aware of, is to maybe to check out some of the things that are on other public access television around the country, because there's a lot of stuff out there.
I wanted to speak specifically with you about my experiences in public access, where I worked for 3 years in Worcester, Massachusetts. I worked as the production facilitator there, and I worked to help the citizens of Worcester to understand how to use the technology and to work with volunteers there. Every week, I personally produced about, I think there are at least 4 hours of original programming with community members I worked with.
Here at WCCA TV 13, we have all the news this community can use. There's grown-up news, young people's news, international news, Vietnamese news, Albanian news, Cambodian news, Grecian news. Phew! I think you get the picture.
Before coming to the Capital Region, I worked at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, which is one of the largest and most well-funded public access centers in the country. We ran 4 24-hour channels on Time Warner, one of which was a fully functioning youth programming station. We had training and equipment facilities for hundreds of community members and for youth. 4 fully functioning TV studios. We had editing suites. And often, even though we had 30 paid staff, sometimes it still didn't feel like enough.
Without paid staff, we are concerned that the oversight for the studio will fall on the library staff, oversight that we're not equipped to provide. So we would like to add our voice to other public access TV advocates in Albany who are asking you to hire paid staff with a license fee from Time Warner. That we believe is the foundation of a successful and long-lasting program.
I feel from my experience at MNN that obviously agreeing with a lot of the other people here is there really does need to be paid staff to run these centers. And there also really needs to be people who have experience in community media helping to organize and build this structure in order for it to be sustainable.
I do think that the council really needs to make sure that there is a strong independent body of people that are sort of overseeing the entire public channel aspect of this, which will be, at this point based on the Albany Public Library. And I think I definitely agree with some of the previous speakers that does require some kind of paid position in order to do that. I think to sort of leave it to volunteers is kind of a setup for the community to then bear the brunt of the failure if that happens.
It still is in your best interest to hire the staff you need. When the community access channels are vibrant, everybody wants to see it. They feel left out. What happens? They sign up. And really using their public access channel for the editing and the beautiful things that it can do. One of the reasons why it grew so much over the years in my town is when your people see more and more events covered by your public access channel, you're going to see the excitement.
And I think that it's truly the best means for creating an electronic public forum for community members, and particularly for youth.
I'm a facilitator of a program called Youth FX, which is based on the Grant Street Community Arts, which is our community arts center down on the corner of Madison and Grant Street.
What are you guys doing? Making the soundtrack for the documentary. And
we work with teenagers, mainly from the South End and Arbor Hill, and basically we train them in digital media, and the overall goal is to empower young people to have a voice in their communities through films and through producing documentaries.
My name is Majestic, and this program is called Youth FX. I became interested because I always had liked to act, and I always wanted to know how a camera works and what you can do with a camera.
The overall goal is to empower young people to have a voice in their communities through films and through producing documentaries.
When you're making public access TV in a public access station in a community, you're bringing people together. You're giving adults and young people skills to enter them into the workforce, or to give them skills to become active agents of change in society, and to produce local programming for a local audience.
For me, the biggest thing here is access for folks that don't have a lot of access to these opportunities. And I have to say that, when it's placed and it's, sort of, part of it was like, okay, we'll have to take an AP class, or you have to do this, or you have to go to a new school. It's like, I want to see that same emphasis put on the Albany Public Library, which is an accessible space, which is really here, centrally located, and that is where the focus for the public channel is put, and that as much emphasis is put on the equipment and the training and the staffing of that location.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All of the individuals that signed up to speak have spoken. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this topic?
Hey.